Meeting, and I shall hand straight over to Shaun, who's going to be talking about, well, who knows? Do you know what he's talking about?
Ah, sorry, I had the wrong. Yeah, got it. Hello. Sorry, I have now confusing. I switched everything off because I've been uploading videos. Can you hear me now? Brilliant. Sorry. Okay, so what we're going to do is have a quick look at these things on the screen. Basically, I've been writing a book for on mobile learning, which is coming out later this year. When I was doing the research into the book and talking to teachers and activities, I found there are lots of ideas with these things, and I'm deliberately not talking about what they are yet on the screen. And it felt to me that although it was a couple of years ago when one of these things was chosen as the word of the year by a dictionary, we haven't really, as teachers, exploited them enough yet. And given that this summer the Emoji Movie is coming out on the cinema, I thought it'd be a good time to revisit. Thanks, Nick. Revisit what we might be able to do with this. So 10 minutes, 10 activities. Here we go. So what does this emoji stand for? What does it mean? Okay, in your chat box, please. Okay, so it's wave. Is Alice just saying hey, or is it means hey? Yep, hi. Okay, hi, bye. Stop. It'd be more. Stop is more like that. A slap in the face. It's interesting to see how you use emojis, isn't it? Generally speaking, in the emoji dictionary, this is seen as hello or goodbye. Most people will see it that way, or people use it a different way. Okay, so what about this one? What does this mean? Oh, go down. Links are coming up. I promise you. Smoking hot. Actually, Adam, that is one of the meanings of it. So obviously you use it a lot. Okay, so the first emoji, the hand emoji, is one that most people would know. This one, according to the emoji dictionary, is that. Okay, and there you go. Go down, and there's your link. Okay, the dictionary there of it is called hot springs. But of course, people attach different different meanings to emojis, and people understand them in different ways. So our first activity that we could do with students as a kind of speaking activity is to get them to choose very obscure or more obscure emojis and decide what the meaning is. So there you go again. What is the meaning of this emoji? So this would be a task that I give the students. They can work together. It's obviously practicing negotiation and understanding. Um, so it could be, yep. Do not disturb. Thank you, Gordana. I can't. I'm trying to remember what it was. That's what it is. So if you go into so the students can decide the meanings. It's quite an odd one. These are all the attributed meaning in the dictionary. Okay, so as a noun, it could be those things, but it could be used as a verb or adjective. And Valentina's come up with bad haircut. Now, obviously, if emoji is a language that if it works, if the person receiving that emoji knows it's bad haircut, then it works. But it's quite interesting to get the students to start agreeing things with it and understanding what emojis mean. And this is quite important because a lot of texts these days are now beginning to use emoji as part of the text. This is an article, you'll get all the links obviously, but this is an article from Edutopia where they talk about the critical thinking and using emojis as part of critical thinking with students. And you see that last line there, the bit that I've kind of I've highlighted in italics. The emojis is similar to vocabulary. It requires it requires context, and emojis could differ in context. So getting the students to work together to agree different emojis makes for me a fun speaking activity, and one that can take place in and out the classroom. Because, for example, if all your students, and you're happy with that, using something like WhatsApp, then you could create a little group where the students send each other these things and test each other with them. This article in Edutopia looks at the idea of using emoji as the basis of critical thinking. And it starts with the same stage, which is the students talking to each other to agree meanings, looking in text and agreeing meanings of it. And then it suggests 2 further activities that students could do with emojis. So one is actually creating a social media guide, so we're turning the speaking activity into a writing activity, or secondly, directions for you. So always people that are not sure about when and how to use emoji. So, so these are 2 creative activities that follow on from what's going on. And because emojis differ all the time and people interpret different things. So this was the title of my talk. So what question was I asking you? Okay, so what question was I asking you? Gordana, it would sound like your connection is slowing down if you can't see anything. So this was do you emoji. Jane, you're quite close. Do you speak Chinese quite well? You know what? I'm not actually sure of how true it was. Like, you've probably heard of Google Translate. That's very close, Lucia. Like Google Translate, there is Emoji Translate, and there is a website called Emoji Translate. So what I did was type in, do you speak emoji? And this is what it gave me as the answer. But I was too lazy then to reconfirm it and check it. But again, this is quite an interesting thing. You can get the students to put sentences into emoji, into Translate, see what comes out, and see how it compares. Okay, so a couple of speaking emoji activities. Let's turn emoji into research. Again, with the growing use of technology in the classroom, we could pose students research questions which they could use their mobile devices, for example, to try and find the answers on the internet. So here you go. Don't worry about the QR codes for a moment. Here are 5 emoji-related questions. Okay, does anybody know the answers? I'll give you 30 seconds in the box. And yes, there really is a World Emoji Day. Of course, the quick ones of you will be now going, Glenn, that's not a bad shout, actually. Plenty. Great answer. Okay, let's do them one by one. Why are the QR codes there? Well, what I do in my training sessions and my students is I create QR codes. So if you actually have a QR reader, you would, nice answer, Liam, you'll be able to see that they are the questions. So I like making things like running dictations and find and research things as QR codes, which are placed around my classroom. So the students can run up with their mobile phones, scan the question, then look at the question, try and find the answer, and move on with them. So that's why the QR codes are there as an example of a way that you could use this in a different way in class. Somebody's Googled, Sandra. Okay, let's answer the questions. How many emojis are there? Well, they're like Wikipedia. There is Emojipedia, and Emojipedia is kind of like the sacred text of emoji. Everything you want to know about emoji is in Emojipedia. So if you ask it how many there are currently 1,851. So Glenn was the fastest Googler in the room there, and we're currently in Unicode 9, which Unicode is the variations of different emoji. We don't get too technical. Unicode 10 is on its way, and every time they put a new Unicode out, there are more emojis. So there are 1,851 emojis at the moment. Let's go a bit quicker. What is the most used emoji? Somebody said the smiley face. According to Emojipedia, this was on Wednesday when I made the slide. It was the person shrugging on that particular day. Okay, and in fact, if you don't do it, well, you can do it now if you want. If you go to emojitracker.com, you can see all the emojis currently being used on the internet. So it looks a bit like this. It's a crazy web page, and it warns you about epilepsy because you'll see the numbers flashing up and down. So every time it's used in Twitter or in a social media, it puts up. It's a fabulous place. Obviously, I'm a bit of a tech geek, yeah. but I like these things. So according to Emoji Tracker, it was Tears of Joy, which is the crying one. So you've got the questions. The students can research the answers, and this again is helping them checking researching skills, going on to critical thinking skills, and I always make them go to make sure they've got more than one source to know that they're right or wrong. As you can see here, my two sources gave me different answers, so the students would have to look through and find different ones. What was my next question? When it's World Emoji Day? Somebody had Googled that. It is July the 17th. Okay. Who decides on emoji? Well, there is actually a consortium. There are a group of people that decide what emoji are. Okay. So every year they sit down and decide what new emoji will be added to the emoji language. So to answer the newest emoji, there are 69 new ones, and they'll enter the emoji in July. Unicode 10 will come out in July. Isn't this fun? You see, you might not like emoji, but what are you learning? And these are the kind of characters that you will that are joining the emoji in the 2018 update. Okay, I'm not putting them all, but these are some of them. And if you go to the Emojipedia, rather, you'll find everything there. Okay, so let's do another activity. What I'd like you to do in the chat box is connect two of the emojis. So, for example, dinosaurs don't eat pretzels. All right. So dinosaurs don't eat pretzels. That's one of that's two of the emojis connected together. Okay. So pick two of the emojis and create a sentence that has at least two of them in. Okay. Mermaids can't play drums. Thank you, Lucia. You can see. Okay, you need a dexterous brain. So Ariel is the mermaid there. So you see how we're turning the emoji into a language practice activity here, where we're beginning to add. We're beginning to take the single words and add them to meanings. You could do this. You don't have to do with emoji. It works for any images, but I wanted to do something with emoji. You could then say to the students, okay, for example, connect the two things using a first conditional. If an alien comes to Earth, it will eat pretzels. There you go. There's a connection there. Okay, so we're using the emojis as a stimulus for vocabulary and then into writing. And then, of course, if you get into vocabulary, there is so much you can do with emoji. So this is from my book. This is taking binomials and idioms. So what phrases are represented here on the screen? So the first one, obviously, fish and chips, sunglasses, pigs can't fly, and the middle one, piece of cake. There you go. So you see how emojis become a source for language practice. So I can get my class to choose emojis, send each other emojis, do practice pieces of vocabulary. Works very well for idiomatic language, for compounds, and those kind of things. Although, as we've already discussed with the meaning ones, we can use them before. So that was from my book, but there are many of these on the internet, and all you have to do is put guess the. There are many apps that have them as well, and you can see here I put this into Google. I just did a Google search for emoji games and came out with lots of different ones that you could use. But it's much more fun just actually making them. Making them yourself and getting the students to make them is actually great fun. Neil, I didn't pay attention of when I started. Could you type into the chat box for me? I've only got a couple of activities left, so I've gone from single emoji into emoji phrases, emoji vocabulary, and then there's something else I really like. Well, I like this nursery rhyme, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. This is my son's favourite nursery rhyme at the moment, so that's why it's there. But if we look at that nursery rhyme, how many of those things could we change into emoji? Okay. It is emoji, Nick. The official plural of emoji is emoji. Okay, so star is obvious as there is an emoji for it. Yeah. Okay, so what you could do then is you could do this in one of two ways. You could give the students a piece of text. I've just chosen this one, but we could create what is called a rebus. That's REBUS. Okay, and so you could prepare this. So you could remove the words and get the students to translate the text, or even better, you can give the students the text and they can translate, or get the students to choose a text and translate the emojis over for it. Then they swap over and the other students decipher the text. It works really well with fairy tales, stories that students know really well, like, for example, Little Red Riding Hood would translate really well with it. But the next step is, of course, is for them to make their own, just make their own with it. In fact, there is a guy, I forget his name, I think it's Tom, and he blogged about something, and he took this a step further. So this is his blog, and it's called My Emoji Weekend. So he did his whole weekend as emojis. So the students then had to write out what all the emojis were. And, so on the weekend, he slept, then he played tennis, he watched television. Do you see what I mean? So they're actually developing text from the emojis. Whew. So that's 9 ideas so far. The 10th idea is emojis, something that I really like as a mobile phone, and I think this is one area where mobile phones have really made a difference, is in being able to get students' feedback. Because obviously, one thing that always interests me, this idea of putting your hand up is never really an effective way of dealing with things with students. So I like using emoji as to get feedback from my students. Okay, so as they leave a lesson, they can send me an emoji as to how they felt about the lesson. So if they didn't understand the grammar, maybe they send me a crying emoji. If they did understand the emoji, they could send me a happy face. And of course, then they can send me things, more information about why they didn't understand it or didn't do it. But I quite like it because whereas hands up or do you understand is very public, sending an emoji, and it doesn't have to be emoji, it could be a text or something, but sending me emoji, the poo one, it could be difficult, is more private, and nobody knows apart from you who got it. And it allows you to say, well, that student sent me the puzzled face, so I know I need to work with that one, and so on. So there you go, 10 ideas to use with emoji for it. There you go, all in one go. There are the 10 things I covered. As usual, I took more time than necessary, but I organised the conference over there. My book is coming out. My book is coming. Yeah, I have a phone for my students. I have 2 phones. My book is coming out in September. So you can go and see all those ideas in September. As I said at the beginning of the beginning of the conference, I do a podcast with Lindsay, and if you'd like to listen to the podcast, you can find out more stuff. We talk about emoji and everything on there. Those asking, Fernando,